Hey guys, welcome back to Chrono Crypt, and today we will be talking about chocolate. Have you ever wondered why chocolate is such a big deal? Like, why do we lose our minds over it on Valentine's Day, or stress out if we run out during a movie night? Stick around, because you're about to find out some wild stuff about chocolate that'll make you see that candy bar in your hand totally differently. Alright, let's get into it. I'm talking about chocolate today, the stuff we all love, whether it's in a bar, a cake, or melted all over some strawberries. It's sweet, it's rich, and it's everywhere. But most of us don't know where it came from or how it went from some weird tree fruit to the thing we fight over in the grocery store checkout line. By the end of this, you'll know why chocolate's history is crazier than you think, and you might even impress your friends with some random facts at the next party. So here's the thing. Chocolate wasn't always the smooth, melt-in-your-mouth treat we know today. In fact, way back when, people didn't even eat it the way we do now. They drank it, and not in a cozy mug with marshmallows kind of way. Nope, it was bitter, spicy, and kinda gross by today's standards. But they loved it anyway, and it caused wars, made kings rich, and even changed entire cultures. Sounds dramatic, right? Well, that's just the start. Let's talk about the problem here. Most of us just grab a Hershey's bar and don't think twice about it. But what if I told you that chocolate's history is full of greed, power struggles, and some seriously weird uses? Like, people used to think it could cure diseases, make you smarter, or even help you live longer. And yet, for a long time, only the super rich could get their hands on it. So, how did something so exclusive turn into something you can buy for $1 at a gas station? That's what we're digging into today. It all started thousands of years ago with the ancient civilizations in Mesoamerica, places like modern-day Mexico and Central America. The Olmecs, Maya, and Aztecs were the first to mess with chocolate, but they didn't call it chocolate. They called it Xocolatl, which is where we get the word chocolate from. Picture this. They're harvesting these big funky-looking pods from cacao trees. Inside, there's this weird white pulp with seeds, and those seeds are what we now turn into chocolate. But back then, they weren't making candy. They were roasting those seeds, grinding them up, and mixing them with water, chili peppers, and sometimes even cornmeal to make a frothy drink. It wasn't sweet, it was bitter and spicy, and they drank it during ceremonies as medicine or just to show off how wealthy they were. The Maya, for example, were obsessed. They believed cacao was a gift from the gods. They even used cacao beans as money. Yeah, money. Imagine paying for your groceries with chocolate chips. A turkey might cost you 100 beans, and a slave? That could be 4,000 beans. Crazy, right? But it shows how valuable this stuff was to them. The Aztecs took it even further. Their emperor, Montezuma, was said to drink dozens of cups of Xocolatl a day. They thought it gave them strength and wisdom, like some kind of ancient energy drink. But here's the funny part. They kept it a secret from most people. Only the elites and priests could have it. If you were a regular farmer, forget it. You weren't touching their precious drink. Now, fast forward to the 1500s when the Spanish showed up. Conquistadors like Hernán Cortés landed in Mesoamerica, and they were like, what is this weird spicy drink? At first they thought it was gross. Europeans weren't used to bitter flavors. They liked their sugar and spices sweet. But Cortés saw how much the Aztecs valued it, and he was smart. He shipped cacao beans back to Spain, and slowly the Europeans started to catch on. They added sugar and cinnamon to make it taste better. And suddenly, it wasn't just a drink for warriors and kings. It was a luxury item for the European elite. This is where things get wild. Chocolate became this status symbol. In Spain, France, and England, only the super rich could afford it. They'd have these fancy chocolate houses, kind of like coffee shops today, but way more exclusive. You'd go in, sip your chocolate from a tiny cup, and feel like you were part of the cool club. But here's the catch. It was still expensive as heck. Cacao had to be imported from the Americas, and the demand was insane. Plantation owners started forcing enslaved people to work in brutal conditions to grow more cacao. It's dark, I know, but that's how chocolate went from sacred drink to global commodity. By the 1700s and 1800s, things started to change. Inventors and chocolatiers got creative. They figured out how to make solid chocolate. Yes, the kind we eat today. In 1847, a British company called Fry and Sons mixed cacao with sugar and created the first chocolate bar. Then, in 1875, a Swiss guy named Daniel Peter added milk to make milk chocolate, and boom. Suddenly, chocolate wasn't just for rich people anymore, it was for everyone. Factories popped up, brands like Hershey and Nestlé started, and chocolate became the cheap, addictive treat we know now. But here's the climax, the key moment that shows just how crazy chocolate's journey has been. During World War II, chocolate wasn't just candy anymore. The US military realized soldiers needed quick energy, so they started handing out chocolate bars in their rations. They even made special D-ration bars that were super dense and didn't melt in the heat. Soldiers called them Hitler's secret weapon because they kept them going during long marches and battles. Chocolate wasn't just food, it was a morale booster, a lifeline. And after the war, when soldiers came home, they brought their love of chocolate with them, making it even more popular. So, what's the big takeaway here? Chocolate's history is a roller coaster of sacred drinks, power struggles, and unexpected uses. It went from being a bitter secret of ancient civilizations, to a wartime hero, to the everyday treat we can't live without. It's funny how something so simple now had such a complicated past, right? Next time you eat a Snickers, think about Montezuma sipping his spicy Xocolatl, or soldiers munching on those D-rations. Watch the next video to learn about another crazy food history you didn't know about.